Welcome back to Real Legends Podcast. I'm your host, Bo, here with my co-host, Dan.
What's up?
Dan, how's it going tonight, buddy?
Dude, we just got some In and Out, and we watched a freaking great classic, Indiana Jones and the scary Nazi tomb. The scary Jewish tomb.
Revenge of Hitler.
Revenge of God.
Yeah, God Strikes Back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I love that movie.
It's a good one.
Got the John Williams music to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Folks out there that have joined us, thank you for being here. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate you joining us on Real Legends to review iconic movies and talk about the stories that work for us, don't work for us, and what they mean to us. If you haven't heard, we're doing a thing called Real Legends Movie Club, and we'll talk more about that at the end. I'm Bo.
I'm Dan.
And tonight's movie is Raiders of the Lost Ark, directed by Steven Spielberg. So Dan, let's talk. What was your initial thoughts?
Dude, it just never ends in a great way. Like, when the movie finally ended, I was sad.
Yeah.
I was like, dang, I wanted to keep watching because it starts off so strong. There's like maybe 5 minutes where Indiana Jones is not fighting somebody or doing something awesome throughout the entire movie. It's so good the whole time. You're just like, gosh, he's so cool. Like, such an awesome adventure.
Definitely, man. From the get-go, it's a little mysterious, heck of adventurous, a lot of fun right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. I love the scene where he has the nunchucks and he turns it into a hanger.
Spoilers. He's been doing this podcast for 13 episodes and he still doesn't know what a spoiler is.
So hard.
Talk about a movie that doesn't let up. We get a little reprieve after the first adventure when we get to show like his other side, alter ego, mild-mannered Professor Jones.
Mm-hmm.
But then once we're past that, it's just nonstop. It's one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and we're going to get into those. Any other non-spoilery thoughts, or should we just get into spoilers?
Dude, I want to just freaking get into this thing already.
All right.
That first scene is so iconic. Can you think of like any other like mystery action adventure type of like adventure movie that has like a more iconic scene than that one? With the rolling boulder coming down and the meme of him replacing the gold thing with the bag of sand. Like it's a massive meme now. You seen that?
I don't know if
there are hundreds of memes where that's like the thing where it's like someone's taking something and removing it with another that's not the real thing.
Yeah.
But that scene is so freaking awesome. It sets it up so well. Like, first thing Indiana Jones is whips that guy's gun out of his hand with the whip. And then he just goes in there and he's fearless and he knows like all of the different traps and stuff. And he's able to just finagle it so well. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and say like I really enjoy this movie. As a kid, this like was such an appealing movie. To see this man being a man and going on adventures. Like, I remember, like, I wanted the whip. I wanted the hat.
Mm-hmm.
He made archaeology cool. Like, I want to go discover old stuff and have adventures and freaking
kill
whip
Nazis.
people. Yeah, punch Nazis, shoot them, kill freaking guys that are swinging swords at me and punch guys' lights out.
Yeah.
Like, such an appealing character for a young boy.
I agree.
See. And so I'm a huge fan of this movie growing up. I still enjoy it very much today. I want to get into that first scene, though, like you were talking about. The reason I want to preface that I like this movie is because I'm still going to point out some things that are just like, okay, this is kind of funny now, looking back.
It's definitely not a perfect movie.
No, yeah. And it's not that I'm being critical of it. It's more of like, there's a lot of suspension of disbelief that you have to give this movie to like give it a pass. Because even like the punches are not super well choreographed, again, for its time. I mean, like we talked about Star Wars last week, the stormtroopers don't move like soldiers. They don't take cover. They don't coordinate. Like, they act like people in costumes thrown in on a scene. And I don't downgrade the movie because of that, because it's just what it is. But this movie's kind of the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, clearly Indiana Jones didn't punch that guy, but he still falls backwards, and
when Indiana gets punched one way, he twists the other direction.
Yeah,
it's like, all right, okay.
But yeah, this intro scene, there's not too much of that besides like, it's interesting that there is still things you have to buy into, though, right? Like this booby trap where, hey, stay out of the light, or these spears shoot out of the wall and they'll impale you.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, how is you walking past a light gonna trigger a ancient Aztec booby trap?
Just go in when when it's raining.
Yeah,
when it's cloudy.
You'll block the window.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's so fun. Especially this, like, as a kid, it was my favorite scene.
Yeah.
Because you got the little arrows shooting out of the wall when you step on the wrong stones, booby traps. You've got to swing across the little gorge.
Mm-hmm.
Not the gorge movie, but a gorge.
That, yes. We had to mention it at some point.
Yeah, so fun, dude. I freaking love it.
Dude,
what a stud.
Booby traps are such a fun idea, and I feel like this movie does it so well. It reminds me of when my sister used to sneak out from our house. My dad nailed her window shut so she would come out the front, like her actual front door, and she tried to sneak out. And so what we would do is we'd set up booby traps for her. We would like put like paper everywhere so it was super loud. We'd put Legos down there. We'd like put random things in her way that she had to like sneak around and stuff.
Yeah.
And if we woke up the next day and anything was out of place, we knew that she had left. Or like, I don't know, it was just so random. But booby traps, like that's like, in my head, booby traps come from this movie, from that one scene.
This and The Goonies, which are both Spielberg movies. I used to build like booby traps in my bedroom when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like I had like a sand castle bucket, and then I'd put like weighted toys in it, and I'd get like the jump rope and tie it onto there, and then try to make it, hang it from the ceiling or tape it there so when someone opened the door, it would swing and hit them. And it's like Home Alone, Goonies, and Indiana Jones.
That's
really
true.
made me like want to make booby traps.
Yeah.
Or like when I was a kid at elementary school and kids are swinging on the swings, I'd want to like go dodge between them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, it's like you got to get through this obstacle danger course.
Very true.
And all of this is to attribute to like these stories.
Yeah, and the Vietnam War.
And being a kid.
There's a lot of booby traps there.
Oh, shoot. Too soon, Dan.
Too soon.
Too soon. Great opening scene.
Awesome opening
Great
scene.
introduction to our protagonist, Indiana
And
Jones.
to Belloc.
Ah, yes.
Who ends up not being that bad of a guy. You kind of have a little bit of sympathy for him at the end.
Yeah, I want to talk about this because there's some things that are said during the movie that almost suggest that, like, well, not almost. It's pretty, the movie suggests, and Belloc himself suggests that Indiana Jones and Belloc are pretty much cut from the same cloth.
Mm-hmm.
And it would only take a little nudge, and Indiana Jones would be the same guy. He'd be just like him.
Yeah.
Because they're both out to get these artifacts.
You can tell
With a little bit of different intentions.
You can tell though Belloc like doesn't want to hurt the girl. He doesn't want to like kill people. He doesn't want to like do like the bad things that the Nazis are doing. He's doing it because he loves history.
Yeah.
And he loves archaeology.
Right. And he wants it to go somewhere where people can appreciate it, a museum, not in a private collection of his or sell it off to a high bidder.
And when he opens up like the
Ark,
everybody like he's really excited about it. He's like, this is history. And when he does his little monologue when Indiana is like gonna blow it up with the RPG, he's like, this is history. You're not gonna blow it up.
Yeah,
we both know. Like, you love this thing as much as I do. And so Belloc is like interesting because he's working for an evil regime, but he's like not that bad of a person. But I think the Nazis are like funding it, and so like he has to kind of do what they say.
Right.
And they need him like he needs them. And so it's kind of like, all right, well, because when they throw the girl down into the pit with all the snakes, he's like against it at first, but then he's just like, okay, well, I guess
it sucks.
Yeah, I can't do anything about it.
Right. Yeah, they're both willing to kill. They're both willing to, in ways, lie or deceive to try to get what they want. You know? Jones's ways more through disguise and getting his friends to help him. Belloc's ways, getting Indian tribes that don't know he's basically a mercenary or thief to help him, and or the Nazi nation or Nazi regime rather. Yeah. So yeah, I want to look more into that as we talk about our story questions. Definitely, whose story is it? What do they want? What do they ultimately need to do or become? And does the movie make us care?
What do you think about Marion, the chick?
Yeah, we get introduced to her as a drinker, which I'm not a huge fan.
I'm not either.
It's very masculine and off-putting to me.
I agree. And it's strange because she downs like 12 shots and McChungus across the way falls over because he's so drunk. And Indiana Jones walks in 3 minutes later and she's like, "What's up?" Walking around like it's not a big deal. Like she's
Again,
not plastered.
Another suspension of disbelief that we're supposed to take on the chin.
True.
For this movie.
Yeah.
It's a good question. What do I think of her? She's a little complicated for me. Like, I think she's a fine character. As far as me personally, like, I don't know, like, half the time I'm like, oh, she's cute and she's kind of got a sweet side to her. But then, like, the masculine thing she does is very off-putting.
I agree.
Drinking, the, like, very heavy attitude. And I try to be like, okay, she's drunk. Let it go. I want to ask this question and talk about it. Yeah, like, the morality of Indy. Because we've hinted on some stuff already, right? He's willing to fight and kill people.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't do the fair fight with the guy with the sword.
Right.
He just shoots him with the gun.
That's awesome.
And it's like, you could argue that like a real man would have like had a fair fight, but he's just so tired. He's like, I don't care. Yeah. Boom, and just kills him.
I've just fought like 9 guys. I'm not doing this.
Yeah, you're dead. Which I love that scene. I think it's interesting too because you make a good point that like Indiana Jones is not exactly like a paladin, like a knight in shining armor. He's like the rough kind of character. Yeah. That's like I could kill somebody, but also like I'm doing it for a good cause. But like I'll get my hands dirty if I need to.
He's almost like the anti-hero, like outlaw.
Yeah.
Right, like in a Western where it's like, oh man, he just killed that guy, but then he also helped that little girl. Yeah. So it's like, wait, yeah, like this guy's he's not clean slate, but he's to
him
he's still helping people.
He's clearly not religious either. Like he mentions that he's like, I don't believe in that really. Like if you believe in Sunday school, like if you believe in God or whatever, he kind of like hints at it. It's clearly like not a huge part of him. But like what he does care about, and this is what Belloc mentions too, is that his religion is archaeology. Right. And that is like an actual fact. Sure. Like anything that gets in the way of him getting his goal is just an obstacle to overcome. Yeah. And like the stuff that he does for archaeology is like insane.
Yeah. Even leading to the very end, right? Where he does have the rocket launcher and he can blow up the Ark and he doesn't, right? Even to that point where he's not willing to sacrifice the Ark. Mm-hmm. In that moment because he cares too much. Exactly. Like he believes in that too much. Yeah. In history, in archaeology. Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting.
My favorite scene by far in the entire movie is when he goes and like 1v20s all those guys.
On the truck?
Yeah. It's my favorite scene by far. So good. So this is right after they do like he gets caught or whatever, but then he's able to like escape and like knock down the wall from the snake room. And then they're like, what are we going to do? And he's like, we'll figure it out. And the next scene, he's on a horse by himself, chasing after a platoon of cars. So freaking awesome. And he gets there and he beats everybody up. He's on the final guy, RFK Jr. comes out and starts fighting with him in the actual truck. And he just goes underneath the truck and just uses it like monkey bars underneath the truck.
Getting dragged on the
and then he whips the end of it and then he pulls himself up and he's able to just take out everything on his own. And the only incentive that he has the entire time is the Ark. Yeah. That's it. Like his willingness to sacrifice everything for the Ark is just incredible. It's like if I was in a scenario like that, I don't know if I would grab a horse and run after a platoon of Germans.
Really, right?
Like that's insane.
Because the movie doesn't even suggest to us that he's doing it because he's like, oh, I can't let the Nazis get this. Yeah. It's just really about, I want to get the Ark. Yeah. Right? He's not even trying to save the day of like, if the Nazis get the Ark, they'll have the power to march forth and beat any army. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think the movie suggests that at all.
He's not saving the girl either because she's already safe. Right. And yet he puts everything on the line for like this cause. And I think that that's such a dope like story to tell. And like it's a very masculine story as we were talking about before. Like sacrificing your everything for a cause, for a good cause, is like the call to action for all men.
Right.
And for all women.
It's a masculine call.
If you're being completely honest, it's a different kind of thing. But like the sacrifice of one's time and body for this thing. Like he gets shot in the arm.
Yeah.
And he still does the jungle gym underneath. That's after he gets shot.
Yeah.
Underneath the truck. And it's just like, dude, what a freaking man. Like, that's what being a man is all about, is it doesn't matter what comes your way, you are pushing through it for the objective.
So when Indiana Jones gets on this chase you're talking about where he boards the truck, I want to bring up also, he doesn't hesitate or think like, I thought while I was watching, I was like, man, he just goes and jumps on the truck. He doesn't like, I was starting to think like, okay, how would I attack this? There's guys on the back of the truck. I'm riding up next to it. What if they shoot me? What if the guys in the car behind me shoot me? You know, I'm kind of thinking it all through, trying to like plan it out how I would do it. But he's already jumping on the truck and doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think, obviously it's not a real story, but I think that's a principle for life, right? Like, and even in this moment, if it was real, it's like, don't hesitate, because the moment you start hesitating, that's the moment you are probably going to get shot in the face, or you're not going to get your objective.
Yep.
Like you just need to go and do. And he does that.
Part of that, though,
first.
And I think that this is like such a cool thing about his character is that in order to have the ability to go and do something like that, you have to be skilled.
Yeah.
And you have to be very capable.
Right.
And so
he's made himself dangerous.
Yes. And everyone should try to be as capable as possible so that they can, in a moment's notice, jump on the horse, take down the Nazis, get the Ark.
Right. Knows how to handle a horse. He's in good shape. He's intelligent.
He knows how to fight.
He's brave. He knows how to fight.
Yeah.
He knows how to throw a punch. He knows how to take a punch. He knows how to get up and keep going. So yeah, that's a great point. Great scene, man. Really fun.
So awesome. And that the craziest thing is that that's not even the only action scene.
I know, they're just back to back to back to back.
In most movies, you have 15 or 20 minutes that are like, okay, here's the cool action part.
I want to hit this, because after we go from the intro jungle scene, and then we talked about the university scene, where Indy is a professor, and he gets recruited by the U.S. government to go looking for the Ark. It just goes from there. Yeah. He goes and gets on a plane, so there's a little bit of break, but he gets to Marion's bar, and he fights guys there. Then he goes to Cairo.
He's also an absolute gangster with her. He's just like, where is it? Oh, I don't know. I know it's here. And then he takes her hand and he shoves $3,000 into it and says, you're giving it to me.
Yeah, he takes one hit from her, but then she tries it again and he grabs her arm.
Like he's like, we're doing this. This is not an option. It's happening.
Right.
He's such a freaking boss.
So yeah, and there he ends up having to save Marion. Then we go to Cairo and we've got thugs that try to jump him and Marion, and he has to fight them. Shoots the guy with the sword. Guys are shooting at him. Nazis are trying to kill him. And then we go him exploring the map room, and then they find the actual dig site of the Ark with the snake pit. And even though he hates snakes, he's still going in.
Jumps in, lights him on fire.
And when all hope is lost and he's locked in there, he finds a way. He uses his mind. Okay, snakes are coming through the wall. There's holes in the wall. There's got to be something on the other side of that. Let's knock this thing down.
It's a very interesting scene because Marion is saying, what are we going to do? 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 She's not proposing any ideas. She's not like suggesting anything. She's
looking to him, yeah.
Yeah, she's looking to him as this leader and like this masculine man. Hey, fix the problem. And he's just like, okay, I will.
Yeah.
It's like, let's go.
Because he's been preparing himself to be able to do that.
So awesome. And so he's capable of just being able to be like, okay, cool. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So we go from that to the truck chase we were just talking about after they get out of the chamber where the Ark was. And then that's leading us almost into the climax, which is the ritual.
Yeah, there's a scene as well too where they board his ship. And then he hides in the ship, and then he jumps on the submarine, and then he beats up the Nazi to take his stuff. It's just like...
and this jacket's too small for him.
Every single obstacle in this movie is nothing for him. He's just like, okay, this is too short. Okay, boom. Whacks the other guy, gets his hat. He's just able to do all of it.
Yeah, he doesn't hesitate. He just keeps moving forward. So we know whose story this is, right? This is Indiana Jones.
This is obviously Hitler's story.
Yeah, Hitler, big player here. Never even see him once.
True. You have to wait till the third movie for that.
We can get his autograph.
Right.
What does he want initially?
He just wants to like solve things in like archaeology. He just loves archaeology.
Yeah, and then in the context of this story as it goes on, once he learns about the Ark, what does he want? Like, right? I think it's obvious. He wants to get to the Ark, and he wants to bring it home to the U.S., put it in a museum for people to enjoy.
Yeah.
So, what does he ultimately need? And this is where I'm getting at with this one. I feel like this one's a little different, this movie, but I think I have an idea maybe of his arc or what he needs to ultimately do or become. But I want to hear your thoughts.
I don't know. The Ark of the Covenant. It's a really good question because it doesn't seem like he ever pauses and has to like learn anything. He kind of is just able to do whatever he needs to, and he's just go.
Yeah, that's why I think this is interesting. Let me pose these questions and let's see if maybe we can figure this out. When we first time we see him with Marion, you mentioned that he's very gruff with her. He's very like, this is how it is, like it or not. I'm in charge. And then the last time they're together, well, I guess right before the climax, he has the opportunity to shoot the Ark. You remember what he says to them?
He says, "Release the girl, and I'll let you go."
He says, "All I want is the girl."
Yeah.
Before this, everything before was all about the Ark.
It's true.
But when he gets down to that last moment, he finally, I think, is at a place where it's like, okay, there is one thing that's more important than history and archaeology, and it's Marion's life.
That is interesting. Like, I was thinking about this too. Like, what would have happened if they had said, okay, let her go? What was he going to do?
I don't know.
Because he still needs to go and, like, get the Ark of the Covenant. Like, he still needs to get it. That's like his whole quest.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not, actually. I don't know.
Well, I mean, had they let her go and had he been able to walk away slowly with the rocket launcher and them leave, I'm sure he probably would have got her to a safe place and been like, okay, I'm going after the Ark.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But I think in that moment, we do have some sort of arc here where he finally puts her above it. Because remember in the tent, when he finds her and he finds out she's still alive, he's going to untie her and take her with him. But then he realizes, if I take you with me, the whole camp's going to know someone's been here and something's going on, and they're going to be on the lookout for us. So I'm going to kind of use you as bait and just leave you here. Because it's better for my objective to go to the Ark just to leave you here so that I don't get caught. Yeah. So you take being tied up. He doesn't know she's going to be treated nice. So you stay here and be tied up. I don't know what's going to happen to you.
Yeah,
hopefully nothing bad. I'll be back for you, but I got to get the Ark. And then by the end where I was talking about the rocket launcher, he is willing to walk away with her over the Ark.
That is true.
The plan isn't like, okay, how do I save the Ark and maybe get Marion out? It's like, no, I got to get Marion out.
And that's kind of an interesting arc too for like just people in general, I guess, is like, when does your objective in life become less important than the people around you?
Yeah.
And I think that's a really interesting thing to think about because, like, neither of us are married. And I talk to a lot of men who are not married, and, like, basically their whole purpose in life is just their interest, their career, their games, their sport, whatever that might be. Like, that's their thing.
Yeah.
But then, like, once you get married and you have a family, that no longer becomes as important. And then, like, your wife and your kids are now the thing that you sacrifice for.
Yeah.
And so Indiana Jones is like, he's not married, and that's because his interest is archaeology, and he has plenty of options with women. That's obvious. Yeah. But he's like saying no because he just wants archaeology to be his life.
Right. Which is probably why their relationship 10 years ago didn't work out.
Yeah. True.
He walked away probably to go pursue his interest, and she was burnt.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to be with him, and he's like, no, I'm not staying in one place. I'm out.
Yeah.
I gotta go pursue archaeology.
And she ends up in Nepal.
Which is odd.
No, it's an interesting point you bring up, and I think that might be the arc, is like, yeah, archaeology matters a lot, but so do people. And I almost wonder if he knew that by getting up there and, like, doing the rocket launcher thing that he would get captured, so that he could be tied up next to Marion and tell her, hey, keep your eyes closed.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't think the movie suggests that necessarily. But I do think that's a good point, though, when he is tied up with her, that he's looking out for her.
Yeah.
Instead of like being so wrapped up in like, oh, what's in the Ark? He's like, you know what?
Well, he knows
you gotta make sure that you're safe.
He knows that it's the Nazi Melter 3000.
I do want to talk about this scene. Why did they like take this ancient religious thing and then make it like devilish when they open it? There's like demons coming out of it, melting your face off, exploding people's heads.
I really don't know the context. I guess it's just like this thing that's just, it has God's power, and so these people are wicked and they're trying to use it for a wicked purpose, and so God destroys the wicked.
Yeah. Are you talking about like biblically, or are you talking about just the movie?
Both.
Okay. I mean, I don't,
because the whole purpose that Hitler's looking for it is that it can be a gift to him on the battlefield.
Right.
It's almost like the ring.
Right, exactly. It's like the mythos is, as far as the people in this movie are concerned, is, and you know, kind of scripturally is, you know, when Israel carried this forth to battle and things, they never lost. They couldn't lose.
Right.
Because they were putting God first, they were trusting him, they were obeying him. So they take forth the Ark, and if you're obedient to that, I'll be with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're trying to like hijack that promise and apply to them, which I don't think would work because they're not. Well, they're killing God's people.
It's interesting too. It's interesting that Hitler wanted it. I don't know if there's any historical accuracy in that, but Hitler was not a Christian by any means. He didn't believe in God.
And that's Jewish, really, because the Ark's pre-Christianity.
Yeah, true. And like, it's not like he believed in God either.
He didn't really care for Jews either.
I do think that that's why they die, though, is because they're wicked and they're using it for a wicked purpose.
Right. I get that. I get like, you're not allowed to open this thing, but you're trying to use God's promises and power, and so you're getting burnt, aka killed, roasted, die, because you're messing with this sacred relic. But yeah, they make it kind of like demony and weird, which I don't get.
Yeah, that is true. Like when the little thing like
there's that woman spirit that's staring at him, and she's kind of pretty, and then she goes all like Skeletor on him, and then he like screams. It's like, wait. Like, why is there a woman spirit thing floating around? Why did it come out of the Ark?
This movie has a lot of parts that are just really creepy, actually.
Yeah.
So the first scene when they're like into the temple and like the spears come out and there's like a body on it.
Yeah, it's the other guy that was another archaeologist.
Oh, jeez, like that's a really freaky part. And then like he walks out and the guy who left him and took the whip.
Yeah.
He's there and he looks really creepy and disgusting.
Yeah.
And then when they finally knock down the wall in the snake room, she like bumps into a million skeletons that just keep falling on, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's freaking creepy.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the vibe they were just going for, is just make the movie freaky.
Yeah.
And they did a great job, by the way.
Spielberg didn't pull any punches with like, gunshot wounds, people getting shot in the head.
A guy just turning into mist once he gets hit by the propeller.
Oh yeah. Although I'm glad they don't show the whole thing, but yeah, he doesn't. Okay, I guess he doesn't pull too many punches. He does pull some, with some strategic storytelling with the camera there. But don't open the Ark. Open the Ark. My understanding of the Ark from the Bible is, they carry it forth into battle. They also carried it into one of the rivers to cross it, and like it was after Moses' time, obviously, right? And once they got into the water parted. Mm. But it wasn't until they had the faith to walk into the water with the Ark, all of them, and get into it kind of deep, that the water finally parted. I wonder, though, like if I found the Ark today, would it be something that's like, okay, definitely don't go touch that because that's still sacred now? I mean, I guess it is, but...
Yeah, it's interesting, too, because when you learn about the tabernacle and how they put the Ark of the Covenant in the Holy of Holies, where only the high priest could actually go and commune with God, like, it is a very sacred thing. And so using it to exterminate God's people is like, wow.
Sheesh, yeah.
You can understand why God just melted them.
Yeah.
The Hitler melter 6000.
That is really cool, those special effects with his face just melting down to a skeleton.
And then they have one guy just blows up.
Yes,
the lock just explodes.
You shouldn't have been wearing the Jewish garments.
We just laughed when we saw that scene. His head just explodes. So funny.
along with this arc of Indy, like, so we get to the end and the government has taken the Ark, the U.S. government. He wants it. He's like, why is it? Why have you taken it? And then he walks out mad because they're like, it's in good hands. And he goes out to Marion and she's waiting for him. And she's happy to see him. And he's kind of just still like pissed off, which I get. He's kind of distracted. But then he offers her his arm. And so, yeah, I think the Ark is there with him. Does the movie make you care? Do you care about this story? Do you care about Indy?
I did. Yeah. Like I said before, by the end of the movie, I was like, I thought we were halfway through, honestly, when the Nazis got melted.
Yeah, it just flew by, huh?
Yeah, I was ready for like more scenes.
Mm.
And then it ended and I was like, oh, dang. Okay, I guess it's over. Like, I absolutely cared by the end. Like, I did not want the Nazis to have the Ark.
This is a 2-hour movie, right? 2-hour movie. So that flew by for a 2-hour movie.
It just...
That's how you do a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. You make it
engaging and entertaining the whole time so that you don't even have time to be like, think about anything else.
Mm-hmm.
You're just engaged in what's happening on screen.
What a banger, dude.
Banger. Definitely a legendary movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Let's get that out of the way right now.
For sure.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, legend.
Absolutely.
Indiana Jones, legend. You asked me what I thought about Marion. What about any of these other characters? We've got, what's the other guy's name? The friend of his?
Gimli?
Gimli, yeah. Sala. John Rice Davies. Is that Gimli?
Yeah.
Dang. I didn't realize that until you pointed that out.
Actually,
I kind of figured, well, when we were watching the movie, I was like, is that Gimli?
It's just insane.
But I wasn't sure.
It's insane how much different he looks for Gimli's character.
Yeah.
And how short he is. Like, all of it just looks so good.
Yeah. He's a good friend. Good character.
I think that there's, like, one scene that I thought was kind of silly. Well, there was a couple that I was kind of like you said, you kind of have to, like, suspend your belief, which is fine. The scene where, like, he's all surrounded by all the Arabs and Belloc, and they're in this room, and he should just kill him. But Belloc, like, doesn't. And then the kids show up and they just, like, save him.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, I'll get you next time. And it's like the kids are just an instant, like, neutralizer. Like, you can't just grab him and pull him back.
Right. Yeah.
Like, what?
Like, we're about to shoot you, but because kids come into the room, we're not going to shoot you.
It's like...
Maybe in America, but not...
Yeah, exactly. Not in Egypt.
Not in Cairo.
Come on. And that whole scene, like, where... he puts the staff in and, like, he just knew how long the staff had to be, I guess.
Well, it was on the... Well, yeah. There's a lot of it. But it's on the medallion thing. Tells you how long it's supposed to be.
Oh, really?
That's how they... Even though the guy had it burnt into his hand, I don't know if you caught that. They were able to... They thought they figured it out because they had one half of the message. But the other half of the message says, like... It's like... 6 feet, and then on the other side, and 4 inches, or whatever. And so,
well, that actually makes
Indy had the right size stick. They didn't, so they're digging in the wrong place.
I take my criticism back of that part then.
Well, it still could be easily criticized because if you put that staff in there, and it's supposed to point directly, perfectly where you're supposed to go dig.
Yeah.
What if I just had it turned by like 1 degree? Yeah. That would make the light source go off by like 3 degrees.
Also, the sun moves a lot throughout the year. Even if you're on the equator, the sun is in different sectors of the sky.
When I was a kid, I didn't care about any of that.
And I still don't,
it was
baby.
Freaking sweet.
And then I think the scene, I think it was like just kind of strategic blunder of them to be digging in the morning when everyone's like walking around.
Well, they dig all night, yeah, and then it goes into the morning.
And it's like, okay, just take a break. It's fine.
Yeah.
Pull them up, leave that area, and then when everyone goes to sleep the next night, then you go and get it. But it's like, he literally looks over and they're 20 feet away. What are they doing? And it's like, oh, you caught me. And it's like, well, no, duh, they caught you. You're right there.
Yeah.
Which kind of might actually be an interesting thing because it shows that Indiana Jones is not a planner. He just wants to go and get things done.
True.
And so maybe in that case...
It's like a strength, but also that strength can be a weakness.
Exactly, where it's like, okay, it is really cool to just run in because you are so capable, but sometimes some strategic planning is required for you to get the objective.
Yeah. Does he do any strategic things for planning in this movie? I mean, he packed a gun in his briefcase, so that's
exactly, that's like
being prepared.
That's the planning he needs. Is like, I just need a gun.
I just need a gun and my whip.
which is so freaking badass.
Yeah, I know. We talked about that when he gets on the plane. I wish I could just jump on a plane with a gun and go fly across the world on an adventure.
Exactly. But alas,
have Nazi spies following me.
I have to sit here and pay freaking federal income tax.
Yeah, and paid $3.79 to rent Star Wars on Amazon Prime 2 days ago.
Sit in traffic of the most boring life ever. Great movie though.
You go on an adventure.
Absolute legend of a movie.
Yeah, loved it. Such a fun movie. I'm kind of interested on what I'm going to score this though. I really don't know how to score this. On the one hand, absolute legend. On the other hand, a lot of suspension of disbelief, but still such a great icon story, male protagonist.
I give it an 8.
Yeah.
I can't give it a 7.5. That feels too low.
No, yeah, I agree. I think, honestly, I'm surprised you gave it an 8.
I gave Star Wars an 8.5.
Yeah.
And I like Star Wars better.
I think Star Wars is a better movie
I do
for
too.
sure.
Yeah.
I gave Star Wars a 9. And yeah, I'm floating between 8 or 8.5 for this one.
What'll it be?
So an 8's a 4-star movie. I think this is at least a 4-star movie. I think I'd give this movie an 8.
Yeah. Dude, we gave it the same rating.
Legendary movie, though. Like,
finally did it.
If you haven't seen it, definitely, especially if you're a man, if you're anyone.
Dude, if you haven't seen this movie, I don't know where you've been.
Right. Go check it out. Raiders of the Lost Ark. We've got Harrison Ford coming back this week with us as the protagonist rather than a side character. And we've got...
He basically plays the same character, which is funny.
Kind of is.
He has a type where it's just like this badass man who's capable of anything and doesn't really care if people think about him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's only very slight differences between the two characters. Yeah. With like Han Solo's definitely not the intellect that Jones is, and Han Solo is a little more like cocky and jokey, where Indiana Jones is just, I'm not going to say anything, I'm just going to punch your lights out.
Yeah. Seems like he likes women more too. Han Solo likes women more.
Yeah. Yeah, Jones is definitely way too fixated on his
focused on the mission
of archaeology and history. All right, dude. Well, that was really fun. Loved watching that. We announced both of these movies ahead of time so people could watch them and then comment on our posts and send us any thoughts or ideas or critiques about the show or about the movies and join in with us. We'd love to get brief thoughts about the movies we're watching. So that's why we're going to be announcing our movies for July. So July 2025, we will be watching. On July 3rd, we will be watching Interstellar. On July 11th, we will be watching Empire Strikes Back. That's right, baby. We've got to get back into this trilogy after we watched A New Hope. July 18th, we'll be watching Napoleon Dynamite. And July 25th, we'll be watching The Godfather. Hey, never mess with the family.
That's right. Trying to watch a bunch of space movies.
Yeah. So we did The Godfather.
And Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, and Interstellar. And Star Wars, I guess.
I love the space scene in Napoleon Dynamite.
So good.
So good.
I love when The Godfather takes out his lightsaber and freaking whacks a dude.
Whack him.
Shoots him with his laser gun.
That's right.
So thanks for joining us on the podcast. You can find us on YouTube at Real Legends Movie Podcast, and you can find us on Instagram at real.legends.pod. And be sure to engage with the show on Spotify comments, YouTube comments, and Instagram comments, because we want to hear from you. We want to hear about what movies you want to watch, what movies we should review, and any thoughts you have about the show, or your thoughts about character arcs, the story, the movie, what you enjoyed about it, what you hated, what didn't work for you. It helps grow the show anytime you interact with us on social media. It boosts the algorithm to get the show out to more people that love movies, like you and like me and like Dan. All right, well, we'll catch you at the cinema concession stand.
Catch you on the flippity flop. George Lucas, dude. It's really unfortunate that he's the same guy who created Jar Jar Binks.